Honda, Porsche, Ferrari. We've got the lot.
On today's show, hot news on the amazing Porsche Carrera GT, direct from the Paris Motor Show. We race across London in a scooter, a microcar and a city car. Which of us will get our cake and eat it? And second-hand supercars, super cool or super expensive? But first, Mike finds his romantic side in the brand new Ferrari 360 Modena Spider.
Ah, late summer in the Italian hills. The fanfare of a thoroughbred V8 engine is music to my ears, as I find myself in Modena, home of the legend that is a Ferrari. Che l'emozione!
Hang on a minute, what's going on? That's not my voice.
This is your Italian side you didn't know you had. Romantic, poetic, enjoying the best things in life.
Are you having a laugh? Go on, clear off. Funny thing is, I think I know what he means. Every now and then, Ferrari drop a bit of a clanger. They build something a bit clumsy, a bit flashy, even a bit stupid. But this just follows a long line of corkers. After the 355, the 550 Maranello and the 360 tin top, and now its convertible version, the 360 Modena Spider. And it's just simply amazing. It's true, just think about the aesthetics too. Even the engine's a work of art, a masterpiece of automotive sculpture in a glass case for all to appreciate. And like a priceless painting, you can look, but you better not touch. Ouch! Listen, I don't know much about art, but I know what I like. And I like Formula One technology, like the titanium conrods, like the 6-speed paddle shift sequential gearbox. I like the...
Oh, come on, Mike. Don't be so logical, so British. You're wasting precious time. You just get back in and try the things. Experience, enjoy.
All right, then. OK, I'm beginning to see what you mean. I suppose what separates Ferrari from the rest of the car world is the totally uncompromised driving experience. The whole central package. The Spider looks beautiful, feels great, and just listen. It sounds like that all the time, even if you're popping down the road for a pint of milk. The 3.5-litre engine spins up to 8,500 RPM. It's like angels kissing your eardrums, pure auditory bliss. Hang on a minute, sounds like I'm getting the hang of all this Italian romanticism after all. In fact... Ciao.
At last, I knew he couldn't resist his Italian side forever. Shall I put your name down for one? I must warn you, there is a 2-year waiting list. And as it's a very exclusive car, it has a very expensive price tag, £118,000.
How much? I'm not paying that. Who do they think I am? And I certainly ain't waiting 2 years. You can keep your cappuccino. I've got a great idea that'll save you wads of cash. I'm back in Britain to find the best second-hand supercar for the same price as a new Volvo. Is it the Honda NSX, the Porsche 911 or the Ferrari 328 GTB? In this week's Driven 100, we've got 3 of the most desirable second-hand supercars. We set a budget of around 35 grand, and for that you could get this classic red-blooded Ferrari 328, a dependable Porsche 911, and their outsider and the less well-known but supremely capable Honda NSX. They're all fast, they're all gorgeous, but which is the best to drive and which is the most painless to own? Will it be tantrums or tiaras in the Driven 100?
Back in 1991, with the help of the late, great Ayrton Senna, Honda launched its Ferrari beater, the NSX. Now this car's mid-mounted V6 engine, packed full of electronic gadgets. It's got ABS, traction control, cruise control, it's got the lot.
Choose your supercar well and you've got yourself a timeless classic. Take this Porsche 911. It's been constantly updated since the 60s, but it's still the same shape. This is a 1994 Carrera and is supposed to be the first truly user-friendly 911. Stick a set of private plates on it and only the experts would be able to date it.
Do I look the part again? Well, this is the gorgeous 1986 328 GTB, last in a long line of curvy Ferraris from the 70s. Remember Magnum PI, Tom Selleck? Well, this is the model that put Ferrari firmly back on the map. Yee-hoo! Time to put them through their paces on the test track.
Imagine you've finally got the car of your dreams. It comes out of the garage and the open road beckons. But what about the twisty bits? Old sports cars are potentially unpredictable and tricky to drive. And yet again, I'm a glutton for punishment because Jason's going to take me round our test track to see whether our 3 used supercars can handle or are just a handful. Enter the techno wonder that is the Honda NSX. You'd have to go for a 96 model to get one in our price range. Unlike the other 2, it has a limited slip differential for better grip and anti-lock brakes.
Even though you could get in a car which was made in 91 in one of these NSXs, I guarantee it would feel like a year 2000 car.
It doesn't feel any different to a real state-of-the-art car these days, does it?
You know, one of the greatest racing drivers of all time, ends, and he advised them on what they should do with the suspension, what they should do with the engine, the drivability, and well, it's just
He got it right,
stunning.
didn't he?
You know, back in those days, Honda ruled the roost in Formula One. They were the kings, and they were unbeaten, and this is a legacy of that success. The steering is just brilliant. It's really progressive from one lock to the other. To be honest, when I'm trying to set my racing car, this is exactly what I'm trying to achieve, to make it easy to drive quickly. They really have done a super job. I'm staying here all day.
Next up is our 94 Porsche 911. Top whack for one of these is 35 grand. It's rear-engined, but unlike today's cars, there's no traction control or anti-slip gizmos to tame the power in the tail.
Right, the brakes are very good on this car. It turns in very well. The steering's really good, but it does suffer from a bit of understeer. You've got to stay on the power. The car likes the tail to be on the floor. It likes to squat. What it doesn't like is brakes and lift-off throttle.
Yeah, because as soon as you lift off, the back goes light, and therefore the driven wheels are losing traction.
Just like that.
Which is great.
Any little small mistakes you make, if you're untidy or a little bit rough, it tells you.
It's going to exaggerate any mistakes you make in here.
Exactly.
And there's not very much room for error, is there?
No, that's exactly why I like this car, because you do have to try, you do have to concentrate, and you do have to work on your driving. But as I said, you can learn to drive these exceptionally well. I'm not sure I've got the hang of it yet, though.
The 911 is truly an involving drive. Now the 328 GTB, it's older than the other 2 in order to stay within our 35 grand price bracket. Is this a classic sports car or just old?
Now, everybody wants to aspire to a Ferrari, but the reality of it is, unless you can afford a 355, which isn't in this price bracket, you're not really going to enjoy it unless you're 3 foot tall. You cannot get comfortable. I'm hitting the roof. I don't want to go any further back because I can't reach the steering wheel. I can't go any further forward because my knees are in the dashboard. It is just so hideously uncomfortable. If this car had another manufacturer's badge on, you would not give it a second look.
It's so true. So is it a handful or does it handle?
It's very, very quick. It accelerates fantastically well, and it's got good grip. It's a little nervous, a little twitchy, but that's okay.
If you could have your legs shortened by a foot or 2, it would be quite nice. So, surprise, surprise, the prancing horse is actually a bit of a donkey. The Porsche is a real handful, so you'll have to spend time getting to grips with it. But the Honda NSX is the clear winner. It's good fun and easy to drive. For more information on buying these and other used supercars, plus an exclusive view of the last Mini off the line, log on to our website at forcar.co.uk.
As promised last week, here's a better look at the new Porsche Carrera GT supercar. 2 fingers up at Ferrari. Porsche say it's a concept, but 500 could be built in 2003 at around 230 grand. The V10 engine and carbon fibre bodywork are pure Formula One and promise over 200 miles an hour. We caught it at its debut in Paris, along with some other goodies, head into the Birmingham Motor Show later this month. We'll have the dream cars, the mainstream, and the bizarre. Concept cars, a load of balls or what? You decide next week when we bring you a 1-hour driven motor show special.
Coming up after the break, 3 would-be congestion beaters on a merry mission. And what will our classic car enthusiasts make of our 3 supercars? Time for the tiddlers.
Congestion. We've all had enough of it. What you need is something that will zip you through the traffic and squeeze you into the tightest parking space. But unlike a bike, it will also offer you a little protection from the elements. Well, BMW reckon this egg-shaped device could be the answer. The C1 offers some of the practicality of a car with the manoeuvrability of a scooter.
Yes, but what about this smart cart? They're as long as most cars are wide, so you can park it like a bike. But I've got a lot more protection for those rainy evenings.
And that leaves me with the Ligier Ambra. It may look like a car of some description, but it's actually classed as a microcar, which means you can drive it on a bike licence. So, are we looking at a transport revolution or an automotive blind alley? A task must be set.
And what better way than to race through the busy streets of London? But of course, with Driven, there has to be a twist.
That's right. So we've lined up 3 apprentice chefs, and they've all baked their cake. We're going to zoom across London, pick them up and whisk them back here to Butler's Wharf, where we meet a top chef who's going to mark us on speed of arrival and presentation. Will our cake survive? Well, we're going to find out. Are you ready, guys?
Yes.
Steady. Wait for me.
Ah.
It's a 4-mile round trip in heavy mid-morning London traffic, and Mike's off to a flyer.
The concept of this bike was originally to drive it without a crash helmet, but unfortunately laws in the UK dictate that no matter what it is, you need to have a lid on your head. BMW claim that this is the safest form of 2-wheel transport you can get, what with its built-in roll cage and optional extras like ABS. But I also think there's some problems with it. Seat belts. All right, it can be quite natty having seat belts, but what's the point? If I fall over on a bike, I want to be able to undo the seat belts and get out of it quickly. Last thing I want to do is be strapped onto the bike.
Mike's going well, but I'm in hot pursuit. You get in a smart car and the first thing you do is just smile because everything is just really funky and mad. No other car in the world looks like it in here. Everything's got a kind of frog eye theme. And it just makes you giggle. Now, visibility is good because there's masses of glass. Because as soon as I look over my shoulder, that is the back of the car. The little smart car comes with a 600cc turbocharged engine and only 3 little cylinders, but it's got 55 horsepower, and something as lightweight as this means it really does shift around.
Penny and Mike might be feeling confident, but I'm not. It's just not fair. They said I'd be driving the Ligier, and, well, I wasn't expecting this. 500cc, 2-cylinder water-cooled, top speed 65 mile an hour. You're having a laugh. I mean, I've got a reputation to uphold. Now, this has got a constant variable transmission. What it basically means is you get 2 pedals, a little gear stick, forward for forward and back for back. It is possibly the worst car I have ever driven in my life. It shakes, it shudders. The brakes, well, they barely work. I can't believe this thing, what, 6,700 quid? There must be 6,400 quid worth of profit. It's just garbage.
But Jason's not the only one with problems. I'm completely lost. Where's Leadenhall Street, mate? I wonder how the other 2 are getting on. I'm making the right thing here of it.
I've tried to like the Ligier Ambra, but it's too crude. The whole thing vibrates and deafens you. There's a radio, but no airbags. It just feels cheap, and it isn't. I wasn't expecting a sports car, but I was expecting to feel like some sort of car. Right, that's it. I'm not driving this anymore. This deserves to be in there. I can't pick my chef up in this. Plan B. Taxi!
Look at that on my left-hand side. Penny Mallory. You're right, Gil. You not picked up your chef yet?
I've been sat here for 10
I've been
minutes.
round, I stopped at the shop. I'll tell you what, if you've got a low self-esteem, get a BMW C1, because people love it. They love seeing you on it. Anyway, Gil, as you sit there and roast in the traffic, I'll pop my sunroof open and I'll get down the outside. How good was that? Penny stuck in traffic.
He's beaten me by a country mile already.
I'm way ahead of the pack. Only took me 8 minutes despite getting lost. So I've just got to pick up my chef and off we go again. I can't fail to win.
Yes, Mike, all that bravado is fine, but this test is also about presentation. OK, it's taken me 12 minutes, but in this top-spec Smart, I've got twin airbags and aircon as standard, so my cake will arrive in perfect order.
Hey, but don't forget me. I got here in 16 minutes. But with my friendly cabbie's inside knowledge, we should pick up some time on the way back.
Yeah, we are, mate. If we can
Well, I'll tell you what, I reckon we're in the best way to get across London. Can't think of anything worse on the motorbike. That cake's going to be smashed to bits.
Yeah, and just a little bit.
And Penny looks like a bit of a fool in that little tiny car, do you not think?
Yes,
We've got the best deal here.
Yes.
I have to say this C1 isn't as manoeuvrable as a conventional scooter, and with the added weight of my expert chef on the optional back seat, the already top-heavy Beamer is a bit of a handful. But I'm sure we're still going to win. How's that cake doing, Stefan? It's not bad. It's a mess.
Looking all right now, isn't it?
Looks all right.
Fantastic.
As expected, we cross the finishing line first in 14 minutes on the BMW C1, followed by Penny with a time of 20 minutes in the Smart car, and last Jason, who caught up a bit thanks to his cabbie. 22 minutes for him. Right, we've all made it back here safely in one way or another, but we need to judge our cakes on presentation. So with me, I've got top chef David Larris from Mezzo's restaurant down in Soho. Now, this is our first cake. This come with Jason. However, let me warn you that he cheated.
Not too bad. You can see it's got a bit of discoloration there, a little squashed. I wouldn't serve it as it is.
Bear that one in mind when we move on to Penny's. She had the benefit of air conditioning. Did that help?
Well, that's certainly, as you can see, that it's in great condition. I think that looks like close to a winner there. I think you can serve that as it is almost.
What do you mean close to a winner? You ain't seen my one yet.
Let's have a look.
I come with Stefan, and this is...
Oh, yeah, magnificent. What can I say?
Hey, there's nothing wrong with it, is there, Stefan? That's all right.
We can fix it.
We can fix that.
I think the lesson here is that cakes don't belong on motorcycles, probably.
So, Penny and the Smart car win it.
Well, I may have won it, but life's all about compromises, and the problem with these three vehicles is that none of them know what they are. There's a bike pretending to be a car, but there's no space. There's a car pretending to be a bike, but there's still no space. And then there's the Ligier pretending to be a car, and it's not. So we'd recommend you go for a Seat Rosa or a Skoda Fabia, and then you have enough change left over to buy yourself a scooter as well. Want to know more about the cars featured in this week's programme, plus details of classic car owners clubs? Then log on to our website at forcar.co.uk. Back to our Supercar challenge. Which one of our three will win?
You may be able to pick up these cars fairly cheaply, but that doesn't mean that they're cheap to run. I went to the Classic Car Club to meet James, who runs it, and Amanda, who regularly hires cars like this. So here's what to look out for when buying a second-hand supercar. Let's start with a Honda NSX. Right then, Amanda, come and have a look at this, because this car is absolutely gorgeous. Got a lovely interior, if that's your kind of thing. I'm not too sure about me, but what do you think?
Yeah, it's very nice. It's a bit plain, a bit dark, but I like these buttons down here. These are nice. They're electric buttons so that you can change the position of the seat, cruise control, nice access to all the different features inside. I like it.
However, there are some problems with it. Am I right, James?
Absolutely right. It's rear-wheel drive, so you've got to be careful. You put your foot down as you're going to undoubtedly do in this car, and you're going to go through some tyres.
Tyres may not sound like a big issue, but at a hefty £300 each, they'll soon become one.
With the Honda NSX, you can rack up high mileages with few problems. In fact, these cars have no particular vices. The only one I can think of is the aluminium bodywork will cost you a few quid should you give it a ding.
Not bad, but what about the Porsche 911?
It's a lovely car. It's a beautiful interior. It's comfortable. It's spacious. It's a Porsche.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? James, what we got to look out for if we're going to buy one of these?
Well, this is ultimately a very, very desirable car. It's good news at the end of the day because you're not going to have major problems with engines going wrong. You know, these cars are pretty reliable.
Good engine, very reliable, but what about the bodywork? Well, the Porsche bodywork has been galvanised. That means it's been treated to prevent rust, but I'm afraid you're still going to have to check the front inner wings for corrosion. And as for parts, well, a catalyst for a 911 will cost you £2,000. What about the Ferrari?
Now, this has got to be the most desirable car on the planet. Remember Magnum?
But from the inside, it's not as desirable as you might think. I don't think the inside looks that nice.
Doesn't do it for you that much.
No.
Right then, James, Ferrari, 35 grand, lot of money to spend.
A few things to bear in mind. It is going to be expensive if you have problems with the engine, so you have to be very, very aware of that, I think, before you start out. Also, this isn't the sort of car you're going to want to leave outside your house.
Firstly, the Ferrari 328 is steel bodied, so make sure you check the inner front wings for signs of rust. Secondly, previous owners may have disconnected the speedo to keep the mileage down if they've got it on classic car insurance. Apart from that, old Ferraris can rack up huge mileages as long as they've got a full service history and they've been looked after properly. If I was spending £35,000 worth of Amanda's hard-earned, sweated-for cash, what would we go for? What do you think, the expert's point of view?
Well, to be really honest, the NSX, fantastic car and lovely. The Ferrari, well, my heart's going towards that, but I have to be honest and say for me, it's got to be the Porsche, the practicality of it, as an overall package, that for me is the most desirable car.
What are we going to go for?
Well, the Porsche, it is practical. The Ferrari is absolutely stunning, of course. But for my money, I'm going to go for the Honda.
The Honda NSX, the most practical supercar of the lot. So there you have it. We don't really care what James thinks. Amanda is going to go for the lovely Honda NSX. Right, it's time for the Driven 100, where we score the 3 cars in 4 different categories. We'd usually only reserve this for new cars, but these cars are so exceptional, we thought we'd give them a go.
First, drivability and the Honda NSX.
It's not hard to drive, you don't have to get used to it, you can just jump in it and drive it straight off.
Brilliant drive, giving it a whopping 22. The Porsche, although a thoroughly involving experience, was just a bit too tail-happy and scores 21. How about the Ferrari?
You cannot get comfortable in it, you can't drive it properly unless you drive it like a hooligan.
And that's reflected in the score. The Ferrari gets 16.
So to desirability, with supercars you can expect some super scores.
It was designed actually as a Ferrari beta and they've come pretty close to it, haven't they?
As well as that, they're still very exclusive, a good 20. But the Porsche has the prestige and the looks and we all love it, a happy 22. Can the Ferrari beat that?
This car is going to be desirable for 3 things. It's red, it's got the Ferrari badge and it's got an engine in the back. Quite frankly, that's it.
But of course, everyone aspires to a Ferrari, so it has to beat the Porsche, a seductive 23.
None of these 3 cars are in the least bit practical, so expect some low scores. First, the Honda. However, you're not going to run down to MFI in it and put planks of wood in it, are you?
But if you hadn't, you'd try.
It may be a supercar, but it is the most practical with quite a generous boot, giving it 15. Pretty low, but not as low as the Porsche, which only gets an 11. Is there anything practical about the Ferrari?
I'll tell you what it's practical for. Posing.
True. The Ferrari gets the lowest score so far, a very measly 9. But come on, you don't buy a supercar for practicality. Right, now, cost of ownership and the Honda. Now, we'd normally work this out on the depreciation value of the running cost over 3 years or 36,000 miles. But actually, this doesn't apply to these cars because they're second-hand cars, so they've taken the brunt of their depreciation. So we're going to work it out on what it would cost you to insure it, what it would cost you to buy one and to run it. As we've discovered, you need deep pockets to run one of these. Parts, servicing and insurance are expensive. Out of the 3, the Honda is the most reasonable and scores 15. The Porsche is a close second with 13, and the Ferrari crawls into 3rd place with a terrible 10.
From this week's 3 supercars, which is Superman and which is Super Ted? Bringing up the rear is the Ferrari 328 GTB. It looks great, but a poor driving position and high running costs means it only scores 58. In 2nd place, the Porsche. It's very desirable, it may be tail happy, but it's the only true driver's car here, giving it a good 67. This week's winner is the Honda NSX, our outsider. A very easy drive with exclusivity appeal, reasonable running costs and a big boot. It moves into the Driven Premier League with 72 points.
So there you have it. If you can't wait 2 years or can't afford the £118,000 asking price for the Ferrari 360 Modern Spider, but still desire a supercar, then we'd go for the Honda NSX. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Next week, don't forget, Driven is going to be longer, a whole hour. We're coming direct from Birmingham with our Motor Show special. All the very hottest new cars, plus in the Driven 100, a Peugeot, a Rover and Ford's brand new Mondeo.
And that's at the earlier time, 8 o'clock. And once again, if you'd like more information about the subjects covered in Driven, check out the Channel 4 motoring website at 4car.co.uk.